Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back. Alright, it's been a minute, and I gotta nameplate up. It's been a minute. Alright, so we're back in real time. Took a separate thing off for Christmas and all that. So now we're back to in focus thing. Alright, so my last notes. From last session, I'm just gonna sum it up. You guys did research at the library. Fenrir tracked ascent to Mason's house. Fenrir broke down the door to Mason's house, and you both went into the cellar and discovered Mason's headless body. And as after a little bit of investigation, you hear some noises from upstairs. And that's where we're going to hop right back in.
So we're currently still in the building.
Yes, you and Mason.
We already searched it?
Yes. You did. You didn't find much in terms of clues, though, however. Mainly that you found a book that gave you, that showed you the ritual of how to remove the scent and how to copy somebody else's. And that's about it.
Like, that's a ritual that someone else could do?
Yeah, the, what was it, the silver daggers?
Yeah.
Did you want that? I didn't realize that we had the thing that made it work.
You just have a book that describes how to do it.
Yeah, we have the instruction manual, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
We probably don't have the proper materials to do it.
No, not at all.
The election is tonight.
The election is tonight.
Would we know if it's done by now?
It's not.
It would probably not be. It would probably be around halfway done by now.
Okay.
We were worried about that, but mostly vaguely.
Yeah.
So, if the trader comes back here,
There's someone above you.
basically- Oh, there's someone above us.
Yes. You hear creaking of the floorboards as someone has come into the house. As a reminder, you broke down the door, so
Yeah.
anyone walking down the street would kind of be a little concerned or curious as to why the hell this door is broken in.
The way in here is just like we didn't exactly.
We weren't the stealthiest. We tried, but the door was
I mean, we
our
were
enemy.
the stealth. We were pretty stealthy, but we weren't like. No one was here. Once we got no one here, I don't think we necessarily made sure to shut every door behind us, either.
Yeah. And your way out is a single staircase going up to the first floor.
Fenrir will look at him and be like, preferred place to fight. What form am I in?
Let's see. Let's see if this is somebody that we need to fight, not just a bystander, just a good Samaritan.
I'd rather meet either in my favorite place to fight.
As the creaking becomes louder and louder, Fenrir, you hear a familiar voice as you hear Nox calling out to you.
He'll be excited for a moment, but then get not excited and be like, he'll like look at them and be like, it's the voice of my friend, but so was he. Just looking at dead werewolf.
Nox, we're going to shift over a little bit. Nox, you are trying to find Fenrir through this city, and you have just discovered this house that has been, like, broken into. And as you're creaking through this house, you see that it has been partially rummaged through. Someone was definitely looking for something in here. They didn't care to cover their tracks as to, like, closing cabinet doors or closing just doors in general.
Did he know that it's Mason's house? The person who was helping us?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, I have no idea who Mason is.
technically
Marcus.
that's my character.
Marcus.
Oh, Marcus.
Marcus. It's so similar.
I know, and it was very much unintentional.
It was.
It's like I just,
It was.
You guys have to realize, you're lucky that I remembered that Marcus's name started with M.
Was he the guard lieutenant?
He was
who-
the guard.
He was the guard.
We're in the guard's house.
Yeah.
The werewolfy one.
Yes.
Oh, and he's dead.
Oh, you don't know that yet. You haven't found his body.
So that's a yes.
Player, yes. Character, no.
Also-
You don't know this.
But if Nox was going into a ransacked house, he wouldn't just start shouting out people's names. He would keep very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, do we even like notice you coming in then?
No, because you guys were down in the basement.
Oh, but I mean like how darn stealthy is this boy?
I don't know. Nox, roll me a stealth check.
Oh, here we go. I was waiting for that. Alrighty. Come on. Old stone building. Please hold. See if I can get that myself in the manual. There we go. How's a dirty 20?
That works. Gotta refresh really quickly because I don't think it showed up.
Well, it won't show up in roll 20 because I'm not on it.
No. I in D&D Beyond, it didn't show up.
My passive. Wait.
Oh, there-
I didn't mean to roll.
No,
it.
that's Fenrir.
Didn't mean to roll. it. My passive
So you're
perception is
really
19.
damn stealthy.
yeah, Mason definitely doesn't notice.
Yeah, that passive perception of 19 doesn't catch you going in. So
Yeah.
you did it.
So
17
Well, I
from
would
there.
imagine if you were pre-focused on searching for something else, your passive would be
lowered.
relatively... Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what passive means. You're not focused on it.
That's true. That's also true. So retcon the whole you guys hearing creaking floors and hearing Nox call you. Nox, you've entered this building. What are you gonna do?
What would he know of said building? Have I just happened across it out of luck?
No, you do know that it is Marcus's house. You are looking for him, because you have, well, you've been looking
Never
for
showed
him
up for
for a
hard
while. He never showed up. You've been engrossed into the Library of Learning things this whole time for a couple days, and you haven't realized how much time has passed.
Mm.
So now you're trying to look for him, and now his house has been broken into.
Would I have had a long rest since the previous session?
Yes, I will allow that.
Multiple long rests or
Yeah.
Gotta remember how to friggin' do that on D&D Beyond.
There's a dedicated button for it.
And
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
on the app as opposed to...
There's still a dedicated button for it. I think it's just a rest button, and then you select long or short rest.
It's like a sunset or something.
Yeah, I think it's... No, I thought that was inspiration. The sunset.
Yeah, that's inspiration.
yeah, it'd be kind of like the campfire one, I believe.
Yeah, it's the campfire.
Oh, okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Do I get the long rest since last time?
No.
Because last time was the Christmas episode.
Oh, yeah, and you weren't hurt at all. So, yes, go ahead and do that. Because you weren't hurt at all, and you hadn't expended any spell slots. So, I didn't have to write
I don't
anything
have
down
spell
for you.
slot. Ha.
Alright, well, if he came into this place and it was clearly ransacked... okay, question. They don't hear me, but do I hear anything?
Mason and
passive
Fenrir, roll me stealth for you two.
Disadvantage
Well,
for
I
not
mean,
trying.
we would be, at least for Mason, he would still be stealthy even when investigating, so that would make sense
Yeah.
for his character.
Go ahead and
Okay.
roll me some stealth.
24.
You do not hear Mason at all.
14.
You do hear that someone is in the house.
Fenrir angrily yells. It's kind of like a growl.
Alright, well, I suppose Nox's first thing thinking something's up was he would cast Detect Magic.
There is magic everywhere in this place. It is like an explosion of magic. It is all. What's the defensive one though? Is it abjuration?
Abjuration.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
abjuration.
most of it is all abjuration.
I'm guessing none of it's bloody triggered though, given that it's been ransacked.
Well, actually, would he
no.
also feel... Well, actually, would he also feel conjuration because Mason is familiar?
Yes. Also a little bit of conjuration magic.
I mean,
Is there any
I thought you were talking
particular-
about like just the wood, not necessarily anything we have or do.
Is there anything, like any particularly strong point that it'd be drawn to?
For the abjuration, it's kind of everywhere, spread thin. There are certain points, like at the the door frame had a pretty strong one, but that's broken down now. Like window frames are pretty strong. Points of entry have like the stronger points in terms of the abjuration.
I'm looking for something.
In terms of the conjuration, the strongest point you feel is below you.
Alright, so even if he had heard what he thought to be... Has he met Mason before?
No.
Yeah, so even though if he thought he heard a growl, thinking it could potentially be Fenrir, the sensation of the conjuration magic would instantly put him on the defensive because he knows that that's not Fenrir's forte.
Also, lots of conjured things growl.
This
But-
is true.
If you're looking for something strange, we found we got downstairs through a hidden door, right?
Yes, but the door is wide open.
That's what I mean. So there is a hidden
Yes.
No, it's like if a bookcase was a
Yes.
jar of
You do
showing a
see.
staircase.
It's not a bookcase, but it's like a wall panel.
Hidden basement.
It's more of like a wall
And
panel,
conjuration magic.
and it
So
is
reassuring.
I want to say it's like halfway ajar.
Oh man, if he was a pyromaniac, he'd summon a flaming sphere and roll it down the stairs.
Let's do it.
What would he do?
However,
Indiana
almost
Jones.
every door in this house is open. That one just sticks out because it looks to be, if you were to close it, it would be more hidden.
Alrighty. Yeah, he would. That would intrigue him. He would go carefully, and I would say he would hold. He would hold the silence spell for fear of encountering some kind of summoning entity. So if he sees anything unfamiliar that appears to be weaving a spell, he would cast silence and make his way downstairs.
Okay. So back to you two. You two are staring at this. Mason, you're more on the defensive. You're not like straight in front of the staircase. You're more like off to the side in the shadows more. Fenrir, you're kind of just like in the middle of the room, just rummaging through stuff, looking for things, not really paying attention to your surroundings too much. As the door opens wider, light starts to shine down the stairs. Mason, you're put on guard basically almost immediately as this. Do you warn Fenrir? Fenrir currently has his back towards it.
Yeah, I'm just kind of pointing toward Fenrir, trying to get his attention, not saying anything, just trying to, tell him we may have company, basically.
What form am I in?
Last time he was kind of like in a half form, I believe,
Yeah.
because we thought there was
We
somebody
went down the
downstairs.
stairs with me in hybrid, so I'm still in hybrid.
Yeah.
That's my comfort anyways.
And Nox, as you go down the stairs, you face the back of a hybrid werewolf. And at the back of the wall is a headless body.
I would assume werewolves have relatively distinctive fur patterns, the same as
Okay,
most
when he
animals.
says hybrid werewolf, there's not even fur.
There's not fur. It's all armor.
So you look like a naked mole rat.
Still.
Here, I got
Yeah.
something.
We'll refresh his memory really quickly.
I'll post it in general.
Yeah.
Both regular, or both human and hybrid forms.
Mm-hmm.
A moment while I scroll through old things.
Yeah, because I know it's up here. Or it might be in sessions chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Trying to scroll. Yes.
Human versus hybrid.
Yeah.
Does he have a room to get this put load?
So I'll describe it whilst it loads. Hybrid, basically a little more fur on the face. Their claws come out and they have fangs, but nothing in terms of like physical body changes.
They got like a bigger nose.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And like more pointed ears.
So really, it's just him in his clothes.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to tell that he's a werewolf from the back.
I would recognize him straight away then.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Seeing that he would relax somewhat, especially seeing that you're not like super alert or you're not in a combat stance.
There's also a dead body at the end of the room.
Can
that seems to be pretty standard around us these days.
This is true.
It's like if I like at this point notice Fenrir is gonna turn around, like like ready for battle. See Nox, get off guard, but then almost immediately get back on guard again.
Nox would probably be completely staring at the new guy.
He's stealthed out. You don't notice him.
Yeah,
Like
I'm just in the shadow.
in a square room or what?
He's kind of tucked behind Shadow right now in a corner. Like, if you go down the stairs, you'll see Fenrir immediately, and he's like off to the side in like tucked in a corner in the shadow.
Yeah, you don't want to surprise this guy.
I'm just like
Okay.
he'll start being like, "How did you find us in here?" I guess he's talking slow now because he's in hybrid form, but how find?
Follow the trail of destruction as usual.
You probably start approaching. He'll be like, "Wait." He seems very actively thinking, trying to come up with some way to do a thing.
Nox isn't particularly focused on Fenrir, he's sort of looking past him at the body. I'm guessing you found him like that.
I can't even remember it, but I can absolutely assume that Fenrir would.
Remember what?
How did you look when I first saw you?
God Christ, when did
You would have been hooded then.
No, he was.
I'm wondering
animal.
if I'd have had the crystal active.
He was an animal because
That's
a magical spell that made me call him a druid, even though he wasn't using wild shape.
yeah, because it backfired.
Yeah.
It turned me into like a raven or something.
That's right.
Yeah, so they would both absolutely remember which animal.
Yes.
I do not.
Oh my god, that's way back there. Oh my god, wait, let me see if I have it written down. Let me see if I have it written down.
He would.
There's no way you wrote that down. Why would you write that down?
Hey, I write random shit down sometimes. I might have written it.
Yeah, because it was the only way I could get out of my cell.
Yes. You were.
Magic backfired. I tried
You
to
were
use
a
something else
raven.
to get out of my cell.
Okay.
That was it. Yeah. I started to think. God, that was ages ago. Yeah. So.
That was ages ago. That really was. But yeah, no, you were a raven.
I remember being a raven, unfortunately.
Good. We found this.
Why so suspicious? Have you encountered shape changes?
We found this. And he'll gesture to the body and say, 2 weeks old.
You said we. Who helped you?
Mason will slowly come out the shadows. He still has his rapier in hand. He's still on guard. But he's just kind of holding it more in a defensive, not like attack position.
Mm-hmm.
Is like a physical description?
Yeah, because I've never met your character before.
So for him, He's kind of like a very like tan 5 o'clock shadow, has kind of a trench coat with a few like daggers on his side, kind of like a cowboy-like hat on his head. Like, I would be the we.
Nox would clearly sort of start moving his hands as if he might be preparing to cast something, and then he would just shoot a sideways glance at Fenrir and say, "New friend of yours?"
Detective. Offered help. Knows some woman that wants to aid us.
How specific?
Nox, just as a side note, with the conjuration, with the detect magic still on, the source of the conjuration is not on Mason himself, but I assume, Mason, you have, what is its default again?
He has it as a weasel.
And I assume it's like
weasel.
on his shoulder or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on his shoulder. Is
basically
the
see
source
an
of it.
albino, yeah, an albino weasel, except instead of red, its eyes are blue.
Oh, cool. All right, yeah, I'd say when Nox notices the weasel, and after Fenrir sort of confirms that he knows you, you would see his overall posture visibly relax.
Yeah, you're gonna see Mason just put his rapier away real quick.
So it was you who tracked down the body.
Both of us did. But yes. See, I have some connections, and they actually pointed me out to the city, and, well, one thing led to another. I know some things, like your mission, for instance. So, besides this catastrophe, as he's kind of like motioning to the body, I want to help.
I broke door.
Wouldn't be the first time we've broken doors.
And probably not the last.
Definitely not.
There's a chance I can fix it on the way out, but I'm not sure there's much point.
Either way, what we learned is Marcus, that detective, that head detective, he's actually pointing to the body. That's the real him. The one that we've been talking to, possibly part of the Silver Dagger organization.
That would make Nox's eyes go wide. And he would look at Fenrir and say, "But I thought you were sure he was a werewolf."
Smelled like one.
Mason's gonna give him the
Looked like one
book.
too.
Yeah, he's gonna give him the instruction book. Silver Dagger fellows, they're crafty. It can actually copy other people's scents. So he actually copied both his looks and his scent.
Nox, as you
Nox.
look at this book, give me a gosh, what check would it be?
Spellcasting ability roll.
No.
No, he'd never be that nice.
Give me an insight check into the book itself.
Now that one I can do. That's a dirty 21.
Nice. So, as the page opens to this, you notice something that they didn't, in that this ritual only works with werewolf blood. Like, in order, the scent will be of a werewolf.
But I take it you need their blood to do it.
Exactly.
So it's blood magic.
Yes. You also notice, because you how long does
Like 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay.
Mm-hmm. As long as I don't cast
You
anything
notice
else
that this
occupied
book
time.
is also a bit magical in and of itself. Not to the point where it's like a magical tome or something, but it has remnants of magic on it. As if it was like used, like it was placed in the middle of it while someone was there, like reading the instructions and stuff, doing the ritual.
How much blood does it say it takes?
A lot of it. And it needs a constant supply.
I see.
Like they've been dead for a while, so they must have ran out at some point of constant supply.
Yes.
Well, Nox would cast it, like, clearly be reading it with some interest. Say,
Nox, at this point, this is where you notice all of the jars in the room. Empty jars. Mason and Fenrir, you had already seen these jars before.
to just empty jars.
Empty jars.
Clean empty jars?
Some of them are cleaner than others. Some of them have a little bit of dirt on them. Some of them have some remnants of what looks like could be some blood.
Okay. And all of them are empty. There's no full ones at all.
All of them are empty.
Alright. Well, Nox would glance back to the book and say, well, I haven't seen blood magic since we left the Uncharted Lands.
There is something different about this blood magic, though. Reading it, it is different than the blood magic that you know of from the Uncharted Land. This blood magic is more tainted, more evil in nature.
Gosh.
Yeah, because the blood magic Nox knows only uses his own blood,
You've
doesn't
heard
it?
of the dark arts, but these are the darker arts.
Yes, a more extreme level.
What does Fenrir know? Just being a passive resident.
Roll me Arcana.
Let me also check. Actually, never mind. I don't even think a D8 is gonna.
You don't know anything about magic. Everything you know comes simply from Nox repeating what he already knows.
And weren't you, like, really suspicious of magic?
Well, he was really suspicious of magic because any experience he had with it was really crappy, just living in no magic zone for so long.
It never was.
But he also didn't like actively go work with people. So if blood magic is rare even in the Uncharted Land, he might have just not talked to anyone who did it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mason wouldn't know much. He deals with more like spirits than blood magic, if I had to say. I bet his patron would know a bit, but he probably wouldn't have asked.
Well, I have to admit, while I'm intrigued to study it, I'm also intrigued to burn it. But that said, I suppose it's evidence.
Well, so far we don't know how deep this connection goes. There's not a point of bringing evidence if we can't turn it into proper authorities if they're all connected to this.
No evidence. If we...
Does, out of curiosity, does Mason have any kind of, like, true sight or anything?
I do not believe so.
That's really, really, really hard to get.
Yeah, I
It
don't
No, I know, I'm just...
believe
No, he does not.
Alright, well, for the moment, just for the record, Nox appears like a hooded human.
I kind of figured that, to be honest.
A very tall one, but yeah.
darn 6'6"
like-
human.
Yeah, like the best way to describe him, like if you've seen Seven Deadly Sins,
Yes.
think Barn,
Okay.
Pain?
because that's
No,
basically
Bond.
what aesthetically I've styled him off of.
Yeah.
So yeah, when
One
he's human, he looks like
inspiration,
him.
yes.
Yeah, the other's a goat.
So
Sorry, he's
Nox.
like half there already. Um, uh,
So Nox, I'm not as familiar with this type of magic. Do you think there's some possible way we can find? Yes. My type of magic is more of the spiritual kind and the more musical, so to say.
Nox,
But
you instantly get the feel that he is someone from a church, like from the way he's saying it vaguely.
Yeah.
uh, but is there a possibility that you could track down our, our quote unquote Marcus? Because, well, we've learned quite a bit, to be honest.
call him traitor.
My
Yes, that-
biggest worry would be that to learn to track this magic, I may have to first learn to cast it. And this is not the kind of magic I would generally want to engage with, but if it would allow us to track down those using it, it may prove beneficial.
So as you begin to read the book, one line sticks out to you. The werewolf whose blood is used, if alive, and if not present within the magical circle, but a jar or vessel filled with his blood is, he will feel excruciating pain throughout the entirety of the process and during the whole time whilst you are disguised as them.
And that's if they're not present in the circle.
Both.
So basically, the only humane way to do it is to a dead one.
Yes.
He would look at Fenrir and he would say, "Unfortunately, this is not something I would put you through. However, if we do happen across another fresh werewolf corpse, not that I would wish it, I would have to get to work right away."
I'm fortunate you have your morals about you, Druid. That is all I will say on the matter. But we know this spell must be what is causing all of the murders. And we have little reason to assume someone else is doing it in addition to our Marcus.
But of all the murders, I didn't think all of the victims had been werewolves.
All of the victims had their scent disguised. All of the victims had been killed by someone with their scent disguised.
Yes, and we actually found some ritual dust at all the crime scene.
So they're using this as a mask rather than using the kills to fuel the spell.
Yes.
So, if our being is still in the city, and isn't just remaining so low while this occurs, our traitor is probably the devil servant that we're searching for.
Indeed, especially with magic like this. Though it appears they've exhausted their reservoir here, so they must have moved on for a new target. The question is whether or not we can find that target before he uses up all the blood so that I can learn the magic.
What makes you say it's exhausted?
Well, I don't see any blood here, and the body looks like it's been bled dry.
So, the traitor will no longer appear as Marcus.
No, it says they need a constant supply. And as soon as that runs out, I would imagine so with the magic.
Well, that's gonna make our job even harder. We don't even know what the crater looks like. Needle in a haystack.
No. But they certainly won't be able to kill without masking their scent again. So all we have to do is hope they haven't killed their last, and we may be able to find a trail this time.
We do know of one more target, though, if they want to do this again.
That would raise Nox's interest.
What other werewolf is in the city?
You're speaking of yourself.
And Mason's gonna be like, whoa, are you saying you want to be Bates?
I've been begging for a fight since I got here.
If you want to lure this guy out, then perhaps we should do this ritual beforehand. Because it can be done while you're alive, it's just... And he sort of flicks back and forth through the pages and grunts a bit, and let's say it will be horrific.
We'll look a tad, like, not happy with the book in general and just be like, what benefits does it offer?
To you, absolutely none, other than the fact that there will be two of us with your scent, and therefore make it a lot harder for our enemy to track us.
Or to help lure them into a spot we can corner them in.
However, unless you can control yourself while under such excruciating pain, it would render you nigh on useless. Because for the however long the spell is in effect, you would be in incredible pain.
I could not be human under such conditions.
No. And it would render you quite vulnerable, though the second we have him lured out, I can end the spell and you would be back to your senses, although probably quite tired.
I see myself as bait being a less risky plan, although we have to assume he wants another target. We still do not know his purpose or goals.
Well, it may be worth using the spell, even if it's only for 5 minutes, so that I can learn the magic. Then maybe I can track him, with anything that lingers on him still.
So are you going to do it?
Not without Fenrir's cooperation.
I guess that makes sense. Fenrir would be like, let's elsewhere. With chains.
Is the corpse chained to the wall?
The corpse is chained to the wall with silver chains.
When Fenrir says chains, Nox just like really nonchalantly just gestures towards the corpse on the wall.
And Mason's gonna be like, I don't know if we should use specifically those. I mean, it's kind of like,
Don't.
a little uncomfortable with that
He's
one.
just gonna like kind of look at you. Don't push your luck, Druid. He'll also mention.
Bad as it sounds, this house is absolutely rife with abjuration protection magic. And it's clearly been done here before, and there is one way in and one way out for us to defend.
It's also the literal home of the enemy that could walk in at any moment.
Technically it's the home of the victim, who won't be walking
anywhere. He's
anywhere.
been here many times.
I could act as a lookout. I could act as a lookout while you perform the ritual.
I don't want to be chained up in his home.
Do you know of anywhere safer?
So, yeah, since my character came out of town, would he, on his journey there, have known any like seen any abandoned shacks or any like secluded locations we could go to?
We're also in a
With
hurry.
convenient trains?
We think something's happening this evening.
Yeah, and you're being hunted. So Nox is like, if we do this ritual now, it's going to be 10 minutes and it's done. Whereas we could spend an hour looking for a place.
Yeah, it wouldn't be anywhere close.
He'll be like, let's take a random alleyway. To be honest.
With you've asked for chains.
Minutes.
I will make it as short as possible. I just need to learn the workings of the magic so I can learn to track it.
Okay, just to get you in on his thought process.
Yeah.
He's generally okay with the idea, maybe not super buying into how useful it is. He's worried that, like, pain will make him transform and attack randomly. But yeah, also legitimately worried that the guy could show up at any minute.
Yeah.
So
Which
he doesn't
Mason,
want to be chained up for that either.
yeah, Mason isn't the strongest, so him holding him down wouldn't be a good idea, but he could be a lookout for sure.
Well, especially since he'll likely go full beast mode when the pain kicks in.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing,
Oh.
like, oh, I'm chained up full beast mode doing this thing, and he shows up. As lookout, what do you tell us? How, like, great. now we know we're screwed.
Yeah, but bear in mind, a ritual can be interrupted at any point. The chains can come off at any point. As soon as the ritual stops, the pain would stop, and you would be back to your normal faculties.
So, in the book, it lists that the circle itself must be drawn with a line of salt that must never be broken whilst the ritual is activated. If it were to be broken, the ritual would cease immediately.
Cool, we have a no shit button.
Yes, you have an oh shit button.
Kind of look worried about him and like just not like the whole concept, but then seeing that both of them are like, yes, this is gonna work, it'll be fine.
Oh, Mason's kind of okay. So for his thought process, he doesn't have too much of a reference, and well, it's kind of like a case of like, I don't really see a lot of options here. If somebody like possibly like gave him another thing that we could lead to, he'd be down for that, but it's one of those the lesser and only evil of a situation without us walking around.
The last thing Knox would say on the point would be either I have a living volunteer and we make this as short as possible, or I have to wait until another werewolf dies.
I don't see why you have to cast a spell. My plan was to literally just walk around the city until he gets randomly attacked.
And what if he chooses not to attack you because he knows why we're here? And continues murdering
it wasn't
others?
a perfect plan.
Yeah, being out in the open, we could get attacked. Plus, there's other, like, there could be other people, other allies of his that we don't know of. So we're kind of like in like an open field.
And at that point, he'll be like, fair enough. I'm not gonna like it though.
I'm sure of it.
He is going to, like, take whatever fabric he can find and pad his freaking wrists so that hopefully it does not touch any silver. and it's probably not going to work for that long. But it was
Roll me. Actually, roll me survival.
Also probably help tearing off fabric off the corpse.
I gave them like rights.
Yeah, so you pat it pretty well. If you don't move a ton, it'll stay in place and you'll be good. If you like frail and freak out in something, it could possibly move and then you're gonna be touching silver. But all in all, you packed it pretty well to where you sit down kind of like against the wall, chains are on, and you're kind of just like chilling there. Nothing's hurting.
The key was
Nox
obvious.
Nox looks very distastefully at the corpse, and he says, "I'm burning this place down when we leave. By the way."
I won't stop you there. I'm not even from the city.
I gave my kin their rights. He should be moving on to the forest.
While that goes, Jason's gonna go upstairs and act as the lookout since he doesn't want to see this at the same time.
Alrighty. So it takes a little bit. I want to say it takes about 20-30 minutes for Nox for you to replicate the ritual circle, and there are still ingredients here on how to do the ritual itself, so you're able to grab the ingredients you need. Luckily, they're here. Some of it you have like just the right amount, like just the right amount of it, and you kind of place them all out.
This is a one shot,
and you start the ritual. As you start the ritual, you are somewhat lifted into the air. Now, did you cut Fenrir at all?
If the instructions in the book said that
it doesn't mention it. It doesn't mention to cut it or anything.
Just mention
Nox would logically imagine that it would require to be drawn out in some form or another, because when he does his hut magic, he uses his long sort of claw-like nails to cut either his arm or his hands. So he would probably run a few cuts across Fenrir's palms.
Okay.
Just with his claws.
They heal?
Do you do them with silver, or do you do them with normal weapons?
Yeah.
I do have some silver arrows. So after a couple of attempts with my claws, I would probably get pissed off and then use the head of a silver arrow and apologize before I do it.
Yeah, he'll yell if it wasn't even a question, but I presume
he would have said. He would
All
have
right.
said, I believe if the blood has a way out, it will be a lot less painful than if I just pop.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Reward me for trusting you, Druid.
So,
I will heal you after.
Fenrir, you have your palms out, and as the ritual activate, blood is drawn out from your system. Surprisingly, though, you don't feel a lot of pain. You feel the blood draw out of you and you feel drained, but you don't necessarily feel pain. And as this blood is kind of concocting and it's swirling in kind of two streams, kind of going in a helix fashion around a Nox, creating this orb of blood above you. And the swirls kind of collide with each other, with you in the center, and then go back. And as it collides, Fenrir, you see Nox disappear, and a duplicate of yourself is in its place. And as Nox, now disguised as Fenrir, goes to the ground, you are fully able to move and everything. Yeah. And the ritual is proceeding and going.
Is it human, or is it hybrid?
Nox is currently in a human form. Nox, you can turn into either hybrid or beast form if you wish.
Because, Fenrir is still in hybrid form. That's just his
Nox
default.
would probably hold his hand up in front of him and extend the claws out as if they were going to go hybrid and draw him back in.
You see for a second Fenrir as he goes into hybrid form, and then he goes back.
I could get used to this. Don't worry, I won't. He would go over and, if he feels he's got a good sense of the magic, he would break.
Before you were about to break it, you stop. Something stops you, and your mind is gone, as you are somewhere else entirely for a moment. Mason, you leave as Nox is preparing. Are you going to stay inside and kind of do a vantage point inside, make sure nobody gets towards the door, or are you going to go onto the rooftop and look down above?
I am going to stay inside, since my character is more melee, close quarters combats oriented. So if he sees anybody, he can get the drop on them, / has an easier time telling others, we've been compromised.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth roll. I assume you're going to hide so that if something comes in, you can get the drop on them.
19.
Alright, so you hide pretty well, and you stay hidden throughout this time. Nox, as you're about to break the sand, or the salt, your mind goes to somewhere else, and you hear a familiar voice. An oh so familiar voice of Lord Petdan. Interesting that you would go to such low means.
Sort of growl. Nox would sort of growl and say, "Well, I learned from the best."
You didn't learn from me at all. You were nothing but a disappointment.
Well, I still have your attention, clearly.
Unfortunately, you do not. And fortunately, you doing this has given me your location. I will be sending that straight to him. Have fun dealing with your replacement. Or shall I say, one of your replacements.
Oh, it took more than one to replace me?
Well, the first guy after you died. He wasn't as resilient as you were.
Oh, you miss me.
I want us to join forces again. I do not wish for you to die, but if you remain stubborn, you force my hand.
You just called me a great disappointment, and now you need my help.
I don't need your help. I just wish for an obstacle to not be in my way.
Well, let's play. And with that, Nox would try and snap his mind out of it.
You successfully do so, and all the blood that was drawn out drenches you as it falls from the sky.
Utterly unimpressed look on his face, like, fuck. But he would hasten to remove the shackles off of Fenrir. Though I suppose he reacts to the silver now?
No, because you are back to yourself.
Oh, okay.
When the ritual was done, you instantly changed back as the blood drenched you.
So, do I still smell like Fenrir?
No.
So now I'm curious as to how someone managed to continuously do a ritual long enough to disguise
you needed to not do that.
I thought I'd just snapped out of the thing and the blood dropped before I did anything.
No, you cleared the circle. You cleared the circle at the same time as you came back.
Would it have said in the thing not to break the circle of salt for the ritual to stay in effect?
Yes, if you break the salt, the ritual will subside.
Okay, so my understanding previously, just to wrap up, was that the circle of salt was for performing the ritual in the first place, not that it had to stay intact for it to last.
No, it had to stay in. It had to stay intact for it to be in effect.
That's how I.
Okay, he wouldn't break it then.
He wouldn't break it.
He would. No, he wouldn't break it, but he would step over it.
Okay, then there's still blood drawing from Fenrir. You're still as Fenrir then.
So the blood constantly draws?
Yes. It's not... I wouldn't say it's like a gushing stream. And it's not like a full coherent stream of it either. Once it gets to the circle, it kind of bunches up to be like a solid stream, but it's more like large droplets. Some in like succession.
He would say to Fenrir, "How are you feeling?"
It's not as bad as I thought, though it's unnerving.
I'll agree, it's not as bad as I thought either. The book said it would be excruciating. Maybe it's because of the incision, rather than being drawn out through the skin. I wonder if your healing can keep up with this. Anyway, that's enough for now. I think I understand it well enough. And he would, yeah, then he would focus on the ritual.
It's not a focus-based.
Oh, so it's literally you set it up, you leave it running, and you can walk away?
Yep.
Okay, he would break... He'd get one of the jars, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And try and draw the blood into one or two of the jars.
As the blood is coming out and as you try to get it, like, in the way, the blood knows and it just scurries around.
Okay, so while the magic is active, it can't be done. Okay, he would...
I think that's what you do ahead of time.
He would hold the jar under the giant orb of blood and... or place it under the giant orb of blood, depending on how big
the orb of blood is pretty high up into the air.
Tall.
If you were to hold up like the jar you'd be able to put it like underneath of it. It would have maybe like a 6-inch gap, but it would be it would be more underneath of it than placing it on the floor.
Wow, that's a high ceiling for a basement.
Yeah, I was like, this 6'6" boy can't touch the ceiling.
Okay, so how big is the salt circle? Like,
So there are multiple. It's multiple like circles interlined. So if you're standing in the center, there's a circle like you can move your foot slightly and disturb it.
all right, big jar under the floating orb of blood. Shift the salt circle.
As it comes down into the jar, you don't get entirely soaked. You do get a bunch of blood on you, but you don't get like entirely soaked. A lot of it goes into the jar itself. And you have a jar of Fenrir's blood.
He would put the lid on the jar of liquid Fenrir, and then he would turn around to face Fenrir and wave his hand and cast Cure Wounds to seal up the wounds on his hands.
Okay.
You know, you're different than most druids I know.
Nox would just raise an eyebrow and grin slightly. I'm not all druid, as you may have guessed. Right, yes. And then he would set about releasing Fenrir.
Mason, up at your point, not much has happened. No one's come in. Coast is clear.
Feeling confident, not hearing anybody dying, so he's kind of feeling a little relieved.
After a while, you can hear the chains rattling, and you assume that Nox is unlocking, since you don't hear any screams or howls or anything.
Yeah, he's gonna go downstairs and just kind of like whisper, "Coast is clear, guys. If everything's done."
Well, that went a lot better than expected. We should move, though. He sort of pat Fenrir on the shoulder after unchaining him and turn away.
Agreed.
We're still burning this place down. Though he does eye the book and wonder whether or not to keep it.
Don't leave it here.
This in the wrong hands. I'm not sure I want it to stay. But it's got magic about it. I don't even know if it could burn.
Don't leave it here.
So does Mason kind of hear you like talk about keeping the book, per se, like mumbling this out loud?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna say, well, my patron is a very famous shaman woman. She knows how to seal and contain magical items. I could possibly send it to her and she could lock it away.
Nox wouldn't even hesitate, he'd just hand the book over.
And he just kind of puts it into his like trench coat like inner pockets.
Make sure this never sees the light of day.
Oh, Lady Aerodeth knows her ways. Aerodeth knows her ways. I wouldn't worry.
All right. Do you know how to track our target now?
As you say that, Fenrir, you pass out.
Didn't mention
He
that.
he was standing up while he did that, like while he was talking, and like just nonchalantly like holding his uninjured hands. And then
straight up,
the
straight up medicine check if that's fine, DM.
Yeah, go ahead.
That would be an 8.
He is. Oh, even so, it doesn't take much. He's perfectly fine. You just have the feeling that his energy is drained. Like,
Yeah,
health-wise,
if it's worth
he's fine,
anything-
but, like, stamina-wise, he's, like, drained.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, nothing too bad. Just gotta keep it slow there, big fella.
I
So,
should probably mention that casting that magic, they know
oh
where
wait,
we are.
did I go unconscious?
Yes.
I think that means I'm incapacitated, which means I go back to human form.
Yes.
Oh, that is not. Ugh. I hope you have a little bit more muscle on your arms than me. Nox, was it?
Surprisingly strong.
Yeah. Dump stat strength, so yeah.
So where do
I
you
think
want to
my
go?
dump stat was intelligence.
Are you guys gonna leave and try to
Am I
go?
awake now? Was
Uh,
that like just a small pass out?
I would say that we probably do the classic, like one on each side, sort of helping him
Mm-hmm.
move along.
Yeah.
And as they go, Nock would
Where
say to
would
them,
you head? Like, where would your first instinct to go to safety would be?
I thought anywhere but the actual town.
Yeah, to me, for
Range.
my character, it would not be anywhere in this town. He knows like this is like the worst place to be in right now.
All right.
And you know
So,
Nox is much happier in the wilds.
so then, as you guys leave the building and go along the thing, at several times, Fenrir, you do kind of like somewhat wake up and then go back down, and then somewhat come back and then go down. And Knox and Mason, how do you want to play this off? As there's not like a whole ton of people, but there are like a couple of people like passing you by.
So for Mason, he could. He's probably had a few friends that have just kind of like had like a bad like hangover mornings. Just kind of like, too much to drink
what
this
time of
guy.
day is it?
It's past noon, right?
Yes, past noon.
Too many early
Nox would probably
after work
make
drinks.
comments about him being out all night drinking, and we decided it was time to bring him home.
Yes.
Both of you roll me deception.
Is this to like guards that are asking, or is this to like
No, this is just passerbyers.
they're
12
just
for
pretending
me.
that they're carrying their passed out friend home instead of carrying their passed out ally out of town?
What am I taking? Well, lucky for you. Okay. So some people like pass you by and they're like, "Oh, okay." Others are like, "I don't know. He doesn't look as like drunk," but they don't do anything. They just kind of give you like a weird look. You get out of the town, and I want to say you duck around the corner to about right here.
I
I would like
can't
to
see that, but
establish
yeah.
that apparently if we knock someone out and carry them out of town, we can play it off.
Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
Just don't rely
So
on my reception,
you
yeah.
make it around here. It's like an abandoned kind of alley. You're kind of outside of the city. The city walls are to your back. There's nothing but fields in front of you, and you guys can kind of just like catch your breath.
So, we also got some more good news if you want to hear, Nox.
Oh.
Yeah.
Give us some of that about now.
Yeah, well, Mason explains how the trader had us unintentionally write what was it, like a contract? Like a spell contract? Yeah, and how we did research and it's based on a verbal command. So the trader has both me and Fenrir under kind of a lock and key kind of
A really
tomfoolery.
important detail I forgot. Yeah, we're looking for a fight for all we know. Yeah.
Not would frown and be like, how is that good news?
Sarcasm, friends, sarcasm. I'm just.
I would have
Just a
said the
little
same
out.
exact
Yeah. Like we haven't had a moment of good news yet.
Exactly.
Oh
That's
yeah,
like
good
being like-
news. We possibly sold ourselves to slavery with a magical contract.
Also,
Exactly. That's kind of like more
Doesn't
good
that
news.
make it so much more likely that he'll come after me next? Did he even set it up ahead of time? Probably. Whoops.
At this point, Fenrir, as everyone's kind of relaxing against the against the stone wall of the city, you're kind of gaining more conscious, and you're actually like retaining your consciousness this time.
Sorry, I missed a lot of it. I've also got to go to the basement, so I might lose control.
He'll just wake up yelling and then realize it's like, oh, I'm not chained up. Cool.
I mean, that would definitely help with people thinking you're drunk.
I was very tempted to just wake up and yell human trafficking, but sadly I can't come up with a good reason for that.
Also, wouldn't be true. You're not human.
True, which is an extra reason why he wouldn't yell it. But you know, he'll just wake up yelling and then kind of look around to his wrist and be like, "Whew, where are we?" Actually, he's back to human form. Where are we?
Yeah, where are we?
You're
Outside the city.
right outside the city. Like along the city wall. You're kind of just like chilling against it right now in like a secluded alleyway.
We're on the outskirts of the city.
All right. I've never had that happen before, but I've also never. He's just gonna vaguely do hand motions, and it looks kind of like he's pretending to cast a spell.
Yeah, and Mason's just like patting his shoulder, like, keep trying, buddy. Just you'll get there. Don't worry.
Just kind of looking up, with like, funny. So what now? Do we need to hurry? We have reason to believe that something's happening tonight, but still no proof or actual what's happening.
Oh yeah, should we also mention about the vampire thing?
Oh, there were lots of vampires. We didn't fight them. I guess
Yeah.
That's vague.
Marcus seemed or the trader seemed as surprised by it as we were. He seemed especially surprised by the amount of them, and the fact
Yes.
that he wasted our time. Honestly,
So it makes
I
me
would
wonder
imagine
what.
true.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. Even though I'm keeping up with everything, I don't see how everything's connecting per se. We're getting a lot of details, but nothing feels like it's, cohesive.
well, not everything has to fit together, but I suppose I'm used to situations where the layout of one land has no bearing on the layout of the next.
Understandable. I mean, just nature and the wild itself has its own rules and connection, just like how murders and city folk and all this can be. But so far, we have a silver dagger here pretending to be a werewolf, committing a bunch of random murders during an election, and there is okay, to basically put this as blunt as possible, a vampire inn, like, across the city. It's kind of like a checkpoint for vampires. So, how does this all connect?
I find it hard to believe that the Order of the Silver Dagger would be surprised by vampire presence.
It wasn't the presence, it was the amount.
Yes, it was like basically consider like a normal inn, just for vampires, like, rows upon
They
rows
didn't
of
expect
like,
dozens.
yes.
Maybe I've
basically
been
just
better than I thought.
Yes. So it feels like nothing is adding up. It feels like we're just kind of following into one thing after another. But it feels like there's still enough to connect somehow.
And the worst part is that we still have our supernatural devil servant that we know was in the city several months ago. But
Oh, they'll be back. They know where we are now. I forgot to mention there was one little hitch with me casting that spell. They know where we are.
our trader, the one in the city,
No. The madman in the castle knows where we are. And he sort of gives Fenrir a knowing look.
and he's coming for us personally?
No, he is sending someone after us, which conveniently I do believe is the one we're here hunting. So now we can rest assured that they will come to us.
Well, so we're probably going to need to we're probably going to have to make a trap of some kind, since we're going to get attacked. There's no way we can go on the offensive for this one.
No, we definitely have to play this defensively.
Alright.
I'm used to my favorite defense being offense. I'd rather take them
Do you
off guard,
think-
steal their weapons.
Do you think there are any powers that be in this city who care enough for the citizens to aid us in taking him down? There was at least one who cared a great deal for the ones who were being murdered, no?
Think any of them have the power to even help? These are human folk.
One
no,
does
because,
come to mind.
The woman, right? Wasn't I don't have my notes in front of me. I remember there was one who really, really cared for the peasants and that were being killed.
That jogs. Let's see who I'm find. That jogs Mason's memory, as you kind of go, "Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. She's dead."
Yeah. She kind of got...
A liar, Dana, is dead. She's the one who you're talking about, Nox.
Yeah,
Not to just like close his eyes, tilt his head back, and give that kind of exasperated, for God's sake.
Only 2 of the mayors are still alive. The guard and
The
the...
vampire. No doubt.
Yeah.
And the
I
vampire.
I was actually uncertain. Our trader obviously wanted us to think that the guard should be mayor over the vampire, but his mere insistence on such a
Thing is, I'm torn
Such weak
as to whether the
evidence.
vampires are orchestrating all of these murders to make it a purely vampire town. In which case they would not be the ones to go to for help. Or they won't like the attention that it's drawing, and therefore they would be good allies. It's a risk.
Which house went to the vampire hotel?
So-
that rich fancy guy.
If we're looking at the map, which I'm going to use this for. If we're looking at the map and you scroll out of the map and you go, if you zoom out of the map fully, there is a house. If you look at the left stables, there is a house way out on the edge of the map. That is the house. Do you see it? Does anyone see it? Am I alone in this matter?
Oh, I'm trying to get back to that. I was having a brain fart on the what was it called? That map. Yeah, the map
Kanga?
websites. Yeah. I was just trying. I was going to the DMs to double check. What was it called? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a dum dum. I keep forgetting to like bookmark it on my my computer.
Yeah. I will. Oh no. That's just like fucking. No, go away. Snipping tool. Where did you go? I was gonna send you guys a little.
Yeah, I was mostly asking for the person's name that owned the house that led towards the vampire thing.
Oh, the person's house is. Which one was it? It was the one. It was. Okay, wait 1 second. Let me do this, because it'll be easier to do this. So.
Do we have anything solidly connecting vampire lady to the vampires?
Vampire dude.
A vampire dude.
Okay, here. Let me copy this. I'm gonna put it in our Discord chat really quickly. And then I'll point it out to everyone else. No, don't save it. Okay.
Hey,
So,
see it. I was trying to.
the yellow highlight, which for everyone else is this house here, that is the Vampire Hotel. The blue circle is Corn Zephyr's house. And he is the one who had the pathway under his house going straight over to their house. To
Where's
that
this blue circle?
place. It's in Discord.
General.
Okay.
General.
I was looking on like Roll20 and
No.
Tinka.
Knox dropped out for a second.
Yeah, he's in the basement.
Yeah. He said that would happen.
So.
I mean, it gives us time to like think.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have vampire dude running for mayor. That traitor was absolutely convincing us. Oh no, this person's trying to become mayor. We need to stop them. Also, traitor took us to the vampire inn, saw that there were too many people, and snuck out with us. If you were working with them,
Wouldn't have been surprised.
and wanted
would
us
have
out of
already
the
known.
picture, why not utilize that situation?
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak for Knox for a minute. And maybe because he didn't want to get caught up in the mess. If he were to betray you two there, he might have got caught up.
Oh, what I'm saying, what that means is that he is not a direct. I am exactly like. He's not like the leader of these vampires.
Yeah. He doesn't have a true connection, like
He's not able to just be like, wake up, attack to the vampires.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically just another faction he didn't
like he would
know about.
Like either he still needed us alive and not captured for some reason, even though we haven't done anything since then, and it seems like he knew that that was the last point he'd ever be in a form we trust. And then...
One thing's for sure.
So I don't think Traitor is working with the vampires, at least not... He's at least not a vampire that's hidden.
Yes. Problem is, you even said yourself, you're not strong. You doubt, like, the two of us could take on the Traitor. Even with three of us, yeah, it's possible, but what if he has, like, allies or some extra contacts or connections within the city? Kind of my issue. Do we go to the vampires, like, you know, try to snuff out Traitor, or do we just try to take care of this by ourselves?
I don't want to show up to more vampires than I could handle with vague information.
That is true. Again, speaking for Nox, but there's no guarantee that Korn is at his house. He might be at the town hall right now for the election. In which case, if we go there, we might end up facing the Traitor before we're able to make this deal.
I would have thought we went straight to the hotel and just tell them about someone that's against them, but we would have to assume that one, the Traitor doesn't want the vampire to get elected, which is reasonable, but not. We don't have proof of that, just evidence. And then, yeah, we do have every reason to think that he's either okay with or directly supports the prison warden.
You mean the guard captain?
Yeah. Same difference.
To you, same difference. But
all pigs.
Official title is guard captain.
Can Nox actually track the Traitor? That line of reasoning seemed like 50% hope to me.
It kind of is 50% hope. I didn't know what he was going for, so I can't speak to if it would have worked or not.
Okay.
Because I didn't know, because he didn't really explain how he would try to, like, find them, so I don't know exactly, like,
so
what his thought process
hope.
would be.
Okay.
At least for what Mason could do, he could just turn his familiar into a bird, maybe like and a survey, see if there's anything crazy going on during the election hall area.
Okay. Do it as a general attack plan. If we can get the jump on this guy. Actually, we don't even know how he fights.
Yeah.
We have no information. We don't even know what this person looks like.
Yeah,
we have vague faction connections, and that's it.
Yes. And like you said, Traitor as a whole, so his capabilities may even be stronger or higher than what you may have guesstimated.
Well, no. Well, we do actually. If it's the Traitor, if the Traitor is the one we're thinking of, we have it in like near like we have it from demigod information that they think we could handle that.
Yeah.
we don't have a guarantee that the traitor is that, but it's a very safe bet, unless everything's been as inconvenient as possible.
There's also the fact that we have two different contracts. Two of us have a contract on our possible souls.
That is the other thing, though. Like, is it better for us to even be there, or do we have to deal with that first? Oh wait, we need to get the freaking paper off his person. We have every reason to think that he has it on his person. And if we get the paper off his person and tear it up or whatever, that's gone.
If you could tear it.
Or get to it.
His person?
Yep.
Okay. Well, how about if we're able to get the jump on him, possibly through some more invisibility, I'll try and get it off his person. Specialize in taking things from people.
Okay.
Plus, with a little invisibility magic from me, it should make it even easier.
Nox said something about me not being able to break the paper.
If you can.
Is it if
Yeah,
magic
yeah.
paper.
What do you
It's magic paper, so it might be only able to be destroyed via a specific manner.
That's annoying. Oh. Any ideas for that case?
Fire?
And
I'm not exactly a pyro, but suppose I could try to get it back to one of you two.
yeah, well, technically, the character does have firebolt, so he could burn it possibly. So, did Mason know that if it's possible to burn / destroy magic contracts that easily?
Make me an Arcana check.
At 20.
You know that depending upon the level of power the contract magic has, weaker forms of contract magic can be torn up, shredded, things like that. The higher up the contract magic goes, the more of an extreme you have to go to destroy the contract itself.
Well, Fenrir, from what Lady
your
Harris...
experience with being able, because you got the drop that it was contract magic, you can tell that it is not the extreme. You can't exactly place it as to where it would be, but it's definitely not to where you could shred it up, and it's definitely not to where you'd have to use a wish to destroy it.
Gotcha. Oh, Fenrir, I got good news and somewhat bad news. Now, the contract is not a very powerful kind from what I can obtain. But it's not as simple as just tearing it up. There is some magical technicalities that will have to come to destroying this. Don't know how strong of magic we got to use, but you gotta put a little bit more effort than just tearing this thing up. Either way, we are in a tough spot and we are running out of time.
So, do you think we try to bring him down before he can even say words? Or is it still worth taking the paper?
I mean, Nox has silence.
could
Better
work.
plan? Okay. Let's say we go track this guy down, and he's just guy standing in the mayor's hall. Cast silence, I turn into a werewolf and go kill him.
At the what?
Cast silence, I jump in as a werewolf and go kill him. And then we both. I call it killing him.
That is a plan. That is a plan. I wouldn't say it's the best plan, or even that good of a plan, but it is a plan. I think maybe find him, cast silence, you sneak up and grab the paperwork, lead him up to a spot. If we could cast silence again, or cast silence in that specific spot, and, you know, then take him down an advantage point that we have, that'd be good.
But he would notice it. He would go on guard with the silence being casted. It would surely be easier to sneak up, grab the paper, and dip out.
Yes. If we get the paperwork, we can figure out what he has for us pertain so we know how to defend ourselves. So getting the paperwork would probably be the best option.
Alright. So.
And if he doesn't have it on him?
Sneak it. No, if he has it on him. That is the entire. We're hoping he has it on him because it wasn't here, and we have little other places we know we could possibly check. It's not at the. It wasn't at the prison, and it wasn't here. So.
Could he have
take it out of his
filed it away?
We looked through the file. Yeah, we checked. Yeah.
All of the files, not just his.
Yeah.
I cast invisibility, and we spent a good time looking through there. And I'm a detective myself, so I know how the proper filing for paperwork like that goes. So unless he actively hid it, like, in a spot where nobody can touch it.
Like, it is possible that he just picked a hiding spot and did that. But, man, he could have stuffed it down the drain. Like, we're...
Yes.
Like, that's hopeless then.
There's running water here? Wait, what? Where are we?
I don't know. I thought it was a city. Like, Waterdeep has drains.
That is actually... No, that's... well, it would be less drains and more of... they're called drains. But what they actually are just like dug small canals on the sides of streets.
Well, no, like there's like underground like tunnels that people go in and can fight in. There's a were-rat infestation down there.
Well, there's also those too. So.
Yeah. So you said city, so I just assumed.
This isn't. This is more of like a well built up like farming village. Okay. It's not like a full-fledged city, not like a city.
But my thing is, man, it's possible that the piece of paper is buried somewhere. Like, if he actually decided, after this, I'm gonna hide it. Well, shit, we're not getting it. The whole crux of this plan is. Hope that he put it in his back pocket and assumed that would be safe enough.
And plus, we don't know of any other, like, spots, any other hideouts.
We checked his house, we checked the filing at the police place. So if he put it where it was supposed to go to be inconspicuous, or put it with his other stuff, assuming that all of it was safe, we would have found it. It's not on either of those places. So either he actually did a really good job hiding it, or it's in his back pocket.
And he can't have destroyed it, so, like, he has to have it somehow.
I mean, he could have buried it, but I'm over here hoping that, like, basically none of our plans work if we assume that they've been accounted for. So.
Yes. Either way, like I said, we are between a rock and a hard spot for really every angle.
At least we don't know of anything bad that will happen soon.
No, of course not.
So thank you for jinxing us.
Oh, but
I'm like, as I'm just staring at the monster that you're going to be facing. No, of course not.
Well, you see, that's not even what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about us fighting a monster. I'm worried about, like, oh, this plan that, like, affects the area and then teleports them away if we don't get there fast enough based on no information.
I would be somewhat concerned about this monster.
Speaking about monsters, is that talking cat still with us?
Yep.
It's not very helpful.
Well, he's not with you right now, but he's around.
Okay.
Okay, so current plan is to use Nox to go find him, and then I'll try and get the paper out of where it hopefully is in his back pocket. If that doesn't work, like, let's say he notices me and attacks. Silence, battle to the death. Middle of town, who cares? Kill them, leave. If I get there, he just doesn't have the paper. Like, he's just, whoops. The only thing in his back pockets were his keys and his wallet. Same plan?
Is a plan, but we'll have to go. We'll have to roll with the punches on this one.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of like the case of Mason is smarter than player. He probably would think of a better plan, but player does not have anything in brain, so.
I am amazing at coming up with plans. Most of them involve murder.
Alright, so we'll go with this plan then, of you sneaking up and trying to grab it, whilst Nox tries to draw him out.
That assumes Nox can track him.
I'm gonna put down to track / draw out.
Because if we're trying to use, like, oh, he needs another werewolf for the thing, it's like, so I'll just be around town existing as a person. Maybe I'll make a stink with one guard so that he hears about it. To be attacked randomly, that's a completely different plan, and kind of gives up any hope of not playing into his cards. But at least we get to move on.
Alright. And that is actually where we're gonna end it, because Nox is going to be busy for the moment. And can't join us back, but your plan hinges on him being able to do stuff. So, we'll come back next time, and we will execute the plan. And try to see if you can get your contract, or if you're gonna just have to fight him.
Yes. The Dice God will either bless or curse us next week.
Yep. Essentially. Anyways, we will see you all later. Bye-bye.